Welcome back to the quiet lesson. The corporate world is a microcosm of society. It's a place where we don't just deal with work pressure, but also navigate complex emotional dynamics and interpersonal relationships. Some of life's most valuable lessons are learned the hard way, through isolation, bruised egos, or missed promotions. Today, let's dive into three classic workplace stories. These are realistic snapshots of disagreements, professional jealousy, and adaptability. Through them, we can gain deeper insights and build a more resilient mindset for our own careers. Story 1. The High Cost of Winning. Mark was a passionate marketing lead who always trusted his creative instincts. During a quarterly strategy meeting, Mark enthusiastically presented a brand new ad campaign he had spent an entire month preparing. However, as soon as Mark finished, Ethan, the quiet and pragmatic data lead, spoke up. Mark's campaign is creative, but 6 months of data show our audience no longer responds to this tone. Running this would be throwing money down the drain. Ethan's words hit Mark like a bucket of cold water. In front of the director and the entire team, Mark felt deeply humiliated. Instead of processing the numbers Ethan presented, Mark immediately went on the defensive. He started targeting past failures in the data department, using sharp retorts to dismiss Ethan's points. Ethan held his ground, firing back with charts to dismantle Mark's arguments. What was supposed to be a 30-minute update turned into a 2-hour battle of egos. Eventually, the director had to slam his hand on the table to call an end to the meeting. The next day, thanks to his persuasive speaking skills, Mark's proposal was approved anyway. He walked out of the executive office feeling like a champion, but that sense of victory was short-lived. When the campaign launched, Mark needed daily data analysis from Ethan's team to optimize ads. However, Ethan only did the bare minimum required by policy. Whenever Mark asked for deeper insights, Ethan replied coldly, "My team only exports raw reports. The strategy was entirely your call." Without genuine collaboration from Ethan, Mark's campaign suffered from critical oversights and tanked. That was the moment Mark woke up to reality. He had won the argument in the meeting room, but lost in execution. His stubborn need to protect his ego had turned a talented peer into a detached bystander. After hours, Mark invited Ethan for a coffee down the street. Away from the high-stakes office environment, Mark spoke genuinely. "Ethan, back in that meeting, I cared way too much about proving myself right instead of focusing on what was best for the project. Your data points were spot on. My ego was just too big to admit it. I'm sorry." Ethan was surprised and his guarded stance softened. He replied, "I appreciate that, Mark. I also apologize for being so blunt. Let's align with each other privately before the next big meeting." From that day on, Mark adopted a crucial rule. Workplace arguments aren't about who is right, but about finding what is right for the team. Key takeaway: winning an argument at the cost of losing an ally is a strategic failure. Owning up to your mistakes doesn't make you weak, it demonstrates maturity. True leaders set their ego aside to achieve collective success. Story 2. The Shadow of Success. Sarah and David joined the company at the same time and sat at adjacent desks. They were close friends who routinely grabbed lunch together and shared the ups and downs of work. Everything shifted when the company launched a project to digitize HR recruitment. Sarah worked tirelessly, coming up with innovative solutions that saved the company 30% in operational costs. At the annual gala, Sarah was named Employee of the Year, complete with a generous bonus. As Sarah stepped onto the stage amidst thunderous applause, she glanced down in the crowd. David was standing in the back corner, clapping half-heartedly with a distant look in his eyes. Over the following weeks, the atmosphere at their desks turned icy. David stopped asking Sarah to join him for lunch. When Sarah asked for his input on a task, David brushed it off. "You're Employee of the Year, Sarah. Why ask someone less competent like me?" Sarah felt hurt and confused. She couldn't understand why her hard work had turned a supportive friend into someone so bitter. Sarah confided in Victoria, a seasoned department director. Victoria smiled gently and explained, "You didn't do anything wrong, Sarah, but you need to understand human nature." Your rapid success acted as a mirror for David. Seeing you rise so quickly made him feel stuck and afraid of being left behind. Professional envy rarely comes from pure malice. It usually stems from insecurity and wounded self-esteem. Everything clicked for Sarah. She realized that during her moment of celebration, she was so consumed by her own happiness that she forgot David had stayed up late helping her format the initial data reports. The next day, when the team held a small gathering to toast Sarah's achievement, Sarah took the floor. "Everyone keeps praising my work on this project, but I want to make one thing clear. If David hadn't meticulously built those initial data models, the whole campaign would have collapsed in week 2. This success belongs to the entire team, and I'm deeply grateful to David." David looked at Sarah in disbelief. After the meeting, Sarah placed a cup of David's favorite coffee on his desk. "Thanks for handling the toughest data work for me back then, David." The tension in David's eyes melted away. That evening, David sent Sarah a text. "I'm sorry for being distant lately, Sarah. Congratulations again. You truly earned it." Key takeaway: the most sustainable individual success is shared success. Replacing I with we and sharing the spotlight transforms latent jealousy into long-term respect and genuine partnership. Story 3: Sailing Through Corporate Storms. Alex had worked as a senior designer at the agency for 4 years. He knew every corner of the office, was comfortable with his former manager's laid-back style, and took pride in being the go-to creative mind on the team. Then came a major shakeup. His manager suddenly resigned, and executive leadership brought in a new creative director, Ms. Patricia, known for her uncompromising standards at a top multinational agency. In her very first week, Ms. Patricia scrapped the existing approval process. She demanded a complete redesign of the core brand identity toward a minimalist aesthetic and enforced strict new project management tools. The entire design team panicked. Alex's colleagues gathered in the break room to complain, "She just got here and she's breaking everything that works. Why fix what isn't broken?" Alex felt personally insulted when Miss Patricia openly criticized his previous favorite designs, calling them outdated and impractical. Instead of trying to understand her vision, Alex chose passive resistance. He intentionally submitted files late through the new system, stuck to his old design habits, and gave terse responses in meetings. "This is how we've always done it," and clients were perfectly happy. Ms. Patricia didn't argue. She simply stopped assigning high-stakes projects to Alex, handing them instead to a junior designer who was eager to learn the new framework. Almost overnight, Alex was sidelined. The former star designer was reduced to handling minor routine tasks. Seeing Alex's growing frustration, a senior mentor pulled him aside. Alex, you're stuck in the past. Miss Patricia was brought in to execute a new corporate strategy from executive leadership. Fighting her isn't standing up for yourself. It's standing in the way of the company's growth. You have talent, but your stubbornness is hurting your career. The reality check hit Alex hard. That night, he put his pride aside and thoroughly reviewed Ms. Patricia's new guidelines. He realized her minimalist vision reflected global market trends, and her workflow system actually prevented costly mistakes. The next morning, Alex requested a brief meeting with Ms. Patricia. Ms. Patricia, I want to apologize for my resistance over the past few weeks. I was looking at things through the wrong lens. I've thoroughly reviewed the new brand direction, and it makes total sense. I'd love the chance to take on the rebranding project again and meet your standards. Miss Patricia smiled. I've been waiting to hear that from you for 3 weeks, Alex. Your talent was never the issue. I just needed you to be open to change. Key takeaway: the most resilient professionals in the corporate world aren't necessarily the most gifted, but the most adaptable. Change is inevitable. Never cling to old processes at the expense of future growth. Thank you for listening to today's episode of The Quiet Lesson. Workplace growth isn't about avoiding conflict or corporate shifts. It's about navigating them with an open mind and quiet confidence. Until next time.